Armoured footmen and knights were packed inside the wooden siege tower, shoulder to shoulder, a full quiver of arrows overlapping one another. The suffocating heat had stolen every last droplet of sweat from them, saturating their thick woolen tunics and breeches, pouring into damp, irritating linen coifs that padded beneath their helms. Now only a dry crust embedded their garments, chafing their skin under the weight of their armour. Muffled breaths filled the stinking air as the men tried to breathe, every inch of space smothered by the men around him as if they'd all been buried alive in the same rotting coffin, left to bake in the brick oven of the eastern heat. A splash of vomit splattered down a footman's chain hauberk, adding fresh salt to the wound of every man's misery. A misery that promised to continue as the siege tower rolled, painstakingly slow, over the rocky ground toward Jerusalem's inner walls. Light slipped from the trap-door above them, blanketing them in shadow. The stomp of boots and the cries of battle came in muffled waves from the covered roof of the engine. There was an abrupt thud as a body hit the platform above. Blood dribbled through cracks in rough planking like a newly forming mountain spring, splatting on a helm drop after drop, the man beneath unable to move from its path. Mercenary Captain Robert Cutnose knew what it meant to be in the front line of a siege tower. He steeled his insides against it and clenched his hard jaw as he waited. His only comforts were his shield, his hand axe, and the iron warriors around him. Men who understood, even if they succeeded, many would fall on the walls, holding bloody wounds and punctured bodies, dying in the land where Christ had died for their sins over 1,000 years before them. For many in the tower, it was the power of God that had brought them on crusade. The priests and bishops had lit the kingdoms of Europe afire with Christian zeal to take up arms and free the holy city of Jerusalem from the vile grasp of the infidel, drawing together a cultural patchwork of 30,000 men and women to partake on the militant pilgrimage. That had been 3 years prior, and now, within sight of Jerusalem's walls, only 9,000 crusaders remained for their final test, with but a few of the least holy placed at the tip of the Christian spear.